Every day I forced the male servant to undergo 100 X-ray scans to prevent him from stealing my gold and silver jewelry. But in fact, this male servant was even richer than me. Every night he would secretly return to his large villa and sneak back through the chimney early the next morning. However, on this day I found toothpaste stains on his pants. I quickly ran to the bathroom to check the toothpaste at home. My toothpaste that cost thousands of dollars. We used up several tubes every week, so I decided to hide and keep an eye on him. And as expected, the male servant actually ate a large amount of toothpaste every day. I was worried that he would steal my money in the future, so I fired him without hesitation. But none of the new servants I hired were honest. They kept stealing all kinds of things. On this day I happened to meet the male servant. I offered to let him come back to work. That night the male servant prepared a grand birthday banquet for me. Then he took out his mobile phone to order a bunch of flowers. When I wanted to thank him, I found that the male servant had fainted on the ground holding the flowers. I quickly sent him to the hospital. When the nurse asked about the patient's family members, I realized that I knew nothing about him except his name. So I called the agency to inquire. But to my shock, the agency said there was no record of the male servant's name. I guessed that he must be trying to gain my trust and then steal all my wealth. So I decided to change all the door locks immediately. But at this moment my phone suddenly rang. The doctor said my father had a serious congenital anemia and his condition was very bad. After hearing the bad news, I hurried to the hospital. However, when I arrived I found that the person lying on the hospital bed was not my father. It was actually the male servant. I quickly explained to the nurse that we only had an ordinary employer-employee relationship, but the nurse looked extremely surprised and then took out the male servant's mobile phone. The emergency contact on it was written as daughter, and that daughter was me. At this moment I realized that we both had the rare panda blood type, so I rushed into the ward to question him. From the male servant I learned that 18 years ago he had personally sent his daughter to an orphanage. He had spent all his money to treat his wife's illness. He planned to take his daughter back after earning money in the future. But a few years later, when he went to the orphanage again, his daughter had already been adopted by someone else, so he applied for the position of housekeeper. I understood his difficulties and donated blood to him. Soon after he was discharged from the hospital, he found the photo album of me when I was a child. I leaned against the male servant. That night I finally spoke up and recognized my biological father.